What's up, everybody, and welcome to Let's Talk Money. I'm Nikolay Timoshchuk Jr., and I can't wait to talk about personal finances today. In this video, I will be giving you 5 tips on how you can improve your personal finances. We're gonna jump into everything from budgets to how you spend your money, where your money's going, how you can get more money, and what you need to be doing in order to start saving. Personal finances are extremely important. Everybody kind of seems to go through life wondering like, how can I get more money? How can I do this? How can I do that? And just watches their money literally just dwindle away. It's like gone in the wind and you don't even know where it's going. And a lot of people actually fall into debt because of that. This video will explain how you can go about budgeting your money, figuring out ways to actually help yourself so that you can get out of debt and become more financially free so that you can finally make that ultimate goal actually happen, which is financial freedom, just like everybody is pretty much chasing in the entire world. So first things first, we're gonna jump in talking about a budget. What is a budget? I don't understand what a budget is. I just spend all my money. I get money on the weekend, on Friday or Thursday, whenever you get paid, and then I spend my money. I don't have a budget. Money just comes and money goes. What do I do? What is a budget? Well, a budget is what you actually allow yourself to spend in a certain period amount of time. So a budget is an estimation of revenue and expenses over a specified amount of time. So a budget is an estimation of revenue and expenses over a specified amount of time. So in real terms, how can I explain this a little bit better? So imagine if you actually own your own house or you have to pay your own bills. So you're at that point in life, you're paying your own bills, you're taking care of yourself, which is a lot of people watching this video. So you know exactly what a budget is, even if you're confused on the actual definition. So for instance, let's say you have a light bill, a phone bill, you have to put gas in your car all month, you have to actually buy groceries, you have to actually take care of other things. That is a part of your monthly budget. You're actually looking at what you're going to be spending for that month. You're taking yourself into a point of life where you're going, okay, I have to pay for X, Y, and Z, so I have to budget a certain amount of money on the other hand so that I can actually cover all these expenses. So let's say you make $500 for that week, but every single week your bills actually cost you $400. So if you're budgeting correctly and you're paying $400, but you make $500, you have $100 left over out of that monthly budget every single week. So in 4 weeks, you'll have an extra of $400 since there's typically 4.23 weeks in a month. So in simple terms, that's how you can look at what budgets are. So you're looking at your monthly budget. That's the most simplest way to actually put it, just so that it doesn't get too tight. And you can actually break that down into a weekly basis so that you know, hey, I need to make sure I'm saving this, this, and this so that I'm not overspending. So at the end of the month, when it's time to pay that electricity bill or that phone bill, I have exactly enough money to pay what needs to be spent on the budget that you have. Budgeting is one of the best things you can do because you're actually placing a lot of importance on what you want to spend your money on. You're actually making sure that whatever is requested of you, you're putting down enough money and enough time to understand that those things need to be taken care of, but you also need to make sure that you're finding a way to bring those costs down. I'm not saying turn the lights off when you're in there working on your computer, but what I'm saying is if you have a monthly budget for groceries and you break that down into weekly, and it's about $100 a month if you're a single adult, and you can make that work for $100 of groceries, and you start wanting to break that down a little bit, you can now budget yourself $90 a week and save an extra $40 a month when you're talking about budgeting. Budgeting is actually one of the most important things you can do to make sure you stay on task and you're actually ensuring that you can become financially free in the future. When talking about personal finances, the biggest issue that usually comes up for people is debt. How do you pay off debt? How do you get rid of it? And why did it accumulate? Well, the problem is most people don't, tip number 1, budget. So therefore, they spend more than they can actually afford. Once they got credit cards, once they were able to get loans, they start spending more than they actually make. Therefore, they go into debt. However, before we go any further, let me ask you to hit that subscribe button, make sure you hit that bell, turn on your post notifications, hit that like, share this video, and drop a comment below so that I can actually understand what you guys want to talk about, what you're interested in, and what you're not. It pushes my video out to a wider audience and we can actually reach people all around the world. So, sorry for this commercial break again. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on tip number 2. The second tip I would give you is actually paying off your debt. When you're trying to get ahead, when you're trying to move forward in life and kind of strive for that financial freedom, you want to make sure you get rid of most of your debt as best as possible. There's no reason to have a bunch of credit cards out there, a bunch of loans out there that just drag your money away, that just take interest, and you lose all your money just because you're not able to budget correctly and you're not paying off that debt. So as the second tip, I would say focus on paying off your debt as much as possible. So as you're actually getting paid every week, set that budget as we talked about in tip number 1, and then number 2, start paying off that debt as quickly as you can, because you don't want to be paying interest just because. A lot of people forget. They don't understand what interest is. Well, guess what? Everything you borrow from that credit card, the company is actually charging you interest. So you're not only taking that money, you're paying money on top of that money that you have to pay back. So let's start paying off our debt as soon as we possibly can so that we can get out of that hole and stop being in a money crunch. So the third tip I have for you when dealing with personal finances is let's start saving. Why? Why do I need to save money? Well, you never know if you're ever going to be in an emergency. You never know if you want to get a new car. You never know if you want to get a down payment on a house. Certain things might happen in life. So guess what? You get into a relationship, you get married, and you want to go buy a house. Guess what? You have money for a down payment. Guess what? Your car broke down. You need a new car. You have money for a down payment on a new car. You can actually help yourself so much by having an emergency fund, because life can throw anything your way, and most people don't really have any excess money. They're living paycheck to paycheck and they're trying to just spend instead of having emergency fund money, which I recommend a 3 to 6 month period where you can actually afford. If your brakes go out, to change your brakes. If your tires go out, you need new tires, you can get new tires on a car, or something happens in your home, you can afford to get that fixed and still have a little money saved over. Most people don't save, but like I said, with tip number 1, you got to start budgeting. Tip number 2, start paying off that debt, so that for tip number 3, you can actually have a true emergency fund for 3 to 6 months that can actually hold you over if you ever lose your job, have an emergency, or just need a little bit of extra cash for whatever it is you want to do. Emergency funds and saving is something that you need to start working on as soon as you start knocking out that debt. Another thing that I really recommend, which is tip number 4, start a side hustle. Get a side job. When I was a high school teacher, I started personal training. So I would teach from 7:15 to 2:15. And then as soon as I would leave school, I would go to the gym and start personal training clients. I would make money from, let's say, 3 o'clock when I got there to about 8 p.m. at night. And then at night, I would actually do stuff for both jobs that I needed, which is paperwork, grading, or going through clientele stuff. You can actually make it happen. Getting a side hustle is something that gets you ahead. So you're like, oh, but I live paycheck to paycheck. I have my job. I'm exhausted. Well, guess what? I was tired too. I've had all kinds of jobs. I've worked 3 jobs at a time. I've done teaching, personal training, and YouTube all at the same time. These things are not easy. By all means, doing things like this, getting side hustles, trying to get everything done all at once, it seems like a headache and this, that, and the other, blah, 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 right? But guess what? As you're getting these side hustles, you start reaping those rewards. That hard work that you're putting in, you're actually seeing the benefits of, hey, I work hard. Well, guess what? Now I have money that I can go invest, or I have money that I can go do this with. I have money that I can go enjoy myself with. Getting side hustles is extremely important in my personal opinion, because a lot of people do live paycheck to paycheck, like I said, but then they don't help themselves outside of that one career or that one job. And we all have responsibilities. We all have certain things we got to take care of. Yes, 100% agree. Getting $300 or $400 or $500 extra a month or a week, think about that. You could literally make an extra $20,000 a year that you weren't expecting, that maybe takes you 2 or 3 hours a day. It seems a little as you're doing it throughout the year, but after that year's done, imagine having someone hand you $20,000 and saying, thank you for doing that for 2 hours a day extra. You're like, wow, 20 grand? Yes. Side hustle, figure it out, figure out what you're good at, and make that happen. And tip number 5 when dealing with your personal finances is monitor your finances. It's very easy to just fall apart. It's very easy to get into this, oh, I'm gonna do step 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 just falls to the wayside. Staying consistent and actually monitoring what you're doing is the hardest part of getting on top of your personal finances. While personal finance might seem like it's something simple, like it's 1 + 1 = 2, and you just do this and do that and do this, it's very easy to fall down the wayside and start going back into your bad habits. I encourage you, stay on top of it. Work through that budget every month. If you can tighten it up every single month, you don't have to go from spending $1,000 a month freely on whatever you want to like $3. It doesn't work like that. Just start improving slowly. Start by doing 10% less of what you were doing, then turn it into 5% less. Whatever you need to do, even if it's 1% less, imagine saving 5% of what you used to spend over an entire year. Monitoring your personal finances takes so much discipline and it takes so much hard work because you're used to just doing what your human tendency tells you to do. You want that, go buy it. You need that, go buy it. You just want to spend because you have it, and that's perfectly normal. That is how life works. It's like, hey, I'm human, I want that, and I'm going to go get it. But when I tell you, start with that budget. Then when you start paying off that debt, and then you start going into different things of life, of saving, then getting a side hustle on top of your personal job, and then doing this and then doing that, next thing you know, you have all kinds of money saved up, and you're actually working towards something that's going to help you grow and get closer to that financial freedom. So this is pretty simple. I'm trying to keep this as simple as I possibly can, because I know it's not as easy as it looks, but it's also not as hard as it sounds. If that makes any sense, and it does, because I know it's not as easy as it looks, but it's also not as hard as it sounds. If that makes any sense, and it does. However, I need you to stay focused, because this is how you can actually become financially free. Now, I'm not a professional. I'm not telling you anything that you wouldn't know anyways if you were trying to get ahead, but these are things that can actually help you, and this is what has helped me personally in my life. This is what has helped me grow into what I have, into a home, into a car, into my lifestyle, being able to travel the world, writing books, making music, you name it. I've been able to live this lifestyle because of my personal finance habits. I've been saving, I've been collecting, I've been paying off debt. I've been doing things that help me set up to a future that I want to actually see when it comes to my finances. With all that being said, I hope the 5 tips that I gave you towards your personal finances actually helps you become a little more financially free. It doesn't happen overnight, it doesn't happen in a week, and it doesn't happen in 2 weeks unless you win the lottery or you inherit money or something crazy just happens. I'm just trying to help you become a little more financially literate so that you become financially free as the days go on. However, that's enough talking from me. Again, please, if you enjoyed the video, make sure you subscribe, make sure you hit that bell, turn on your post notifications, make sure you like, share, and drop a comment below so that I can keep bringing you awesome content on the things you guys actually want to learn about. I hope that I simplified this well enough to where you can understand personal finances and just continue to help yourself grow as an individual all around the board. Without much further ado, I will say that I'll see you on the next video, so take care of yourselves and stay blessed. Peace out.